And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, for Stream Challenge Saturday's number 2 here for Regulation E right here. I'm Jesus Cornell. Joining me now is Arnie Wolf, and we're set to go into round number 2 here with a couple more interesting Pokemon that we've yet to see in this broadcast booth, and we actually are going to see one very unique Pokemon today, right now.
I'm very excited. We're going to see the return of Weezing. Weezing had a really good run back last gen with Regigigas and Dynamax. A bit weaker this format. No Pokemon to really abuse the neutralizing gas with, but just removing abilities really helps for Rillaboom. It helps for Fluttermane, so that, although I believe you can activate the photosynthesis, but
Yes,
if you're going on Sun, like Weezing Sun is really, really good. It does help Tornadus. That one is something that hits me all the time. But yeah, Weezing's going to be fun. We also have Blood Moon Ursaluna, so that'll be exciting.
Yeah, Blood Moon Ursaluna, brand new Ursaluna Fortnite, got introduced in the Teal Mask DLC, and actually, if you notice the battle music against Ursaluna, you actually get the reference to Pokemon Legends Arceus as that theme plays out during that battle.
That's so cool. I love it. I'm excited. I love Ursaluna as in general. I remember when we first saw the release of the new Pokemon from Pokemon Legends Arceus, like Ursaluna instantly popped out to me as one of my favorites, so seeing all the love it's getting is really exciting. And you're going to see here, I believe we got Nicholas on the left side. We're going to double check here, and Edward's going to be on the right, and we are setting up the match here. So I think right off the bat, as you're going to see here, so we're going to have Nicholas on the left and Edward on the right. And Nicholas is running, as you can see here, Ninetales, Alola, Iron Bundle, Arcanine, Hisui form, Iron Hands, Weezing, and Fluttermane, while Edward is running Ursaluna Blood Moon, like we just talked about, Cresselia, Tornadus, Incarnate, Rillaboom, Fluttermane, and Ogerpon, Earthflame.
The Ogerpon strikes me as an interesting Pokemon into this matchup because I'm not sure if my body aspect is turned off by neutralizing us, but I do.
Oh wait, no,
actually,
believe it is.
I've done this so many times actually. So
no, I can relate. I think right here Snowlead's really solid for Nicholas. There's not much that Snowlead can stop, or that can stop the Snowlead besides the Ogerpon, Earthflame, and Tornadus. But even with that, you're still going to be relatively fast. Iron Bundle is a fast Pokemon, and the nice thing is this Ninetales has Terra Water, meaning if you have to predict, do you go for the Horn Leech, which probably after a +1 could KO, or do you go for that Ivy Cudgel right away? This Ogerpon also has Sword Stance. Good to keep that in mind.
I mean, well, that last time this guy followed me Substitute, which I think Substitute is a little bit underutilized on Ogerpon Hardflame form, and Sword Stance as well, because it basically gives you options like you have to go defensive, supportive, or setup.
Yeah, there's so many options on Ogerpon that it's just insane. And obviously Ivy Cudgel and Horn Leech being the two most common.
And here we go. We're going to see Edward's lead go into the Cresselia and the Rillaboom as Nicholas goes Arcanine Ninetales here. So we'll get Snow, we're going to Intimidate onto the Rillaboom, we'll get a Grassy Terrain. And does this look like a free Trick Room for this Cresselia?
Oh yeah, totally. This is a great lead for Edward. Especially, I was saying earlier, before the match started, looking at the team sheets, I'm like, what can Nicholas do against Trick Room? And we were saying the only thing really is Weezing with Taunt, but this Cresselia has Mental Orb, so you kind of just got to overpower it. That being said, that I don't think is going to happen. I think here, yeah, this is a very interesting set because you get a free Fake Out on Ninetales. It doesn't have Protect, and or Arcanine. It's got Choice Band. Rillaboom gets Fake Out on whatever you need, and then you just take the damage. Or I personally think you Fake Out the Ninetales here, so that way it doesn't set up Aurora Veil and then set up Trick Room. Arcanine will take damage. Okay, never mind. Other way around.
Well, Fake Out goes into this Arcanine. It does have a lot of offensive presence with something like the Head Smash. Especially, I mean, it probably will survive on the Cresselia, even though this Aurora Veil now goes up for Nicholas. And this should be a free Trick Room coming in. It is going to be a Trick Room. Yeah. But I think the Fake Out went into this Arcanine because it probably you are afraid of max damage Head Smash.
Yeah, although I believe Cresselia would still live that, and then you can just Lunar Blessing yourself back up, as well as this Rillaboom. It does not have Stomping Tantrum, so I guess it's a little more threatening that way. It has a double Grass Move and U-turn, so that's going to be what is dangerous there. I think at this point with Arcanine, you stay in and just kind of Rock Slide, switch that Rillaboom out, go into Ursaluna Blood Moon, and then, yeah, the only thing you got to watch out for with that is that Blizzard from Ninetales. I think you'll live it.
Yeah, even with that Assault Vest, probably at the very least. So Weezing's gonna come in here, bringing the neutralizing gas, but the only thing that's really affecting is the Levitate on the Cresselia, but there aren't any ground type moves intact as it goes for a Helping Hand on the Rillaboom, so it's looking to get something out of the way here. Oh, he tried to get Arcanine out of the way with his Wood Hammer, and Weezing takes it much more beautifully than an Arcanine can.
This is a safe switch in for Weezing. Definitely was a safe switch in for Weezing. Yeah, I think it was smart not switching into Blood Moon yet. I do think you kind of have to go into it fast before your Trick Room goes up, because otherwise it's going to get taken advantage of here. It's not... especially if Fluttermane or Iron Bundle is the last Pokemon. But Weezing is a great switch in here because Cresselia and Rillaboom just cannot touch it. They do not. Every move they have is resisted by Weezing, and that allows you to just go for some burns, go for some taunts. If you need Sled Bomb, you could pick up a knockout, but just basically support your Ninetales. And you have the Aurora Veil up, which is so big because that Weezing's gonna stay on the field, and you're gonna be able to pretty much stall out the Trick Room.
Another helping hand comes from this Cresselia. Maybe now goes after the Ninetales. Out of this wave here. So Taunt now goes into this Cresselia, but it does have a Mental Herb, so it's going to shake it off at least for this one turn. But even if it did get taunted, it didn't have the helping hand, which is probably very valuable here. How much does Woodhammer doing? This Aurora Veil Snow boosted Ninetales? Over 50%.
Yeah, I think not bad position at the moment. The Blizzard obviously going to get rid of the Rillaboom. Nicholas in a great position actually because that Weezing outspeeds as well. So if you bring out a physical attacker, which actually the rest of the team is special except for Ogerpon, which Ogerpon can't get burned. So you're not really threatened by that. The real threat would be Taunt on Cresselia, I think, at this point, because you can't really do much. Cresselia is not a good special attacker, despite it being one of the most bulky setters. It's just not the greatest. But yeah, saving it, bringing in this Ursaluna, a Blood Moon form, and I think that's going to now turn the tide.
It will, especially with a load of power in its side. A signature move, Blood Moon, 140 base power special move, but it cannot use it in succession, so he's gonna have to time it perfectly. But I think Earth Power might be the move onto this Weezing to make sure that neutralizing gets out of the field.
I think he set up a Hyper Voice on turn 1, and there's a reason for that.
Oh yeah, there's a Throat Spray on it.
Yeah, exactly. And then you also got to make sure you get rid of the Ninetales, which does have Aurora Veil and does not have Protect. So because you don't want to get hit by a Blizzard, I think you'll take it, but it'll be fragile.
It's a Terrassalization, and I believe this is Edward's Terrassalization, and it is Edward's for Ursaluna to normal.
They're going for those full power full power Hyper Voices. I think, yeah, Helping Hand Hyper Voice. That's the play.
Here we go, Helping Hand comes out. Is this going to be a Hyper Voice? And if so, how slow is this Ursaluna? It is pretty slow.
It is going to be, I believe, minimum speed quickly. That takes, wow, that Weezing, it took a lot more damage than I thought, and that's without the Throat Spray. It is Terra Normal Helping Hand, which is a lot of damage, but it's also an Aurora Veil, so it's basically like a neutral kind of trade-off. Maybe a little more than neutral, but that did a lot of damage. And Taunt, yeah, that's fine. Cresselia did its job with that one Helping Hand. At this point, you're able to basically spam Hyper Voice until Weezing goes down. But you gotta watch out. The Trick Room is gonna expire in a few turns, so and Weezing has a lot of ways of recovery. So I think right now, depending on what comes out,
they're both choiced.
Ooh, free Blood Moon incoming. Yeah, Nicholas may have been. Oh gosh.
Those are two choice Pokemon, which means that neither Pokemon can protect, but the problem just becomes like, you need to get out of this Trick Room, and then what does your opposite option be?
If the Trick Room expires this turn, then you are in good shape. I believe it has one more turn after this, and that's scary because we're gonna lose both. An Iron Bundle is known for having one of the worst special attack stats in the game.
Special defense.
Special defense, thank you. Great special attack. Thank you for the correction there. Yeah, worst special defense stats in the game. A Hyper Voice one-shots it.
Absolutely.
I'm almost positive, especially Terra Normal. So at this point, you just gotta hope you survive the Trick Room.
That's what Weezing is trying to do right now, is get another turn of Leftovers and recovery with that Leftovers and Grassy Terrain. Earth Power is actually going to destroy Arcanine, just a double weakness to the ground. Cresselia just stuck using Moonblast, and if Trick Room expires here, Iron Bundle in a pretty good position, but not all, but it also depends on when the snow stops, and it does stop right now, and more HP recovery. Actually, the neutralizing gas actually giving Weezing Cresselia's healing right there with the Grassy Terrain.
Yeah,
you know, not typically you see that every day from a Cresselia healing up from the Grassy Terrain, but Trick Room does end.
My question here, why didn't you Terra to Grass? You would have lived the Earth Power. I mean, yeah, Hyper Voice would have knocked you out, but Arcanine is bulky. And you could have at least Rock Slided, but it is Terra Normal. But I think maybe what the Nicholas is doing here is saving the Terrestrial for Iron Bundle so you can go full power Freeze Dry into Ursaluna.
No Terrestrialization looks like from Nicholas. He's eyeing an Hydro Pump. And he just locks it in. Ursaluna protects, so no damage goes into its way, and that's a
free Trick Room. Well,
I think Cresselia's still
taunted, but still, like,
a Moonblast should still do over 50% health to the Iron Bundle still.
It's just not a good position for Nicholas. Like, not at all, because, like you said, the Moonblast deals 50%, and after the Trick Room goes up, Weezing's going to be able to taunt pretty safely. I mean, it doesn't matter.
Actually, there's a lot less damage than I thought. Cresselia is not as defensive as I thought it was.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if the also don't forget it is Aurora Veil's ult. Because it is Light Clay Ninetales. So
one more turn of time for Cresselia.
You don't at this point you don't even really need it. I don't think Iron Bundle plus Weezing can knock out Ursaluna here, and you just click Hyper Voice and that's the end of the game. I think Edward's in a really good spot. I'm disappointed we didn't see that Grass Terra. I think that may have turned the tide.
But at the same time, I think Nicholas kind of accepted that the Arcanine would faint there, but also Earth Power still doing a lot of damage. Hydro Pump almost gets the one-hit knockup, but the Sludge Bomb will follow it up, so Cresselia is going to get up another Moonblast, but I think he needs a special attack drop.
Well, I completely overestimated Ursaluna Blood Moon's bulk.
Does this Moonblast get the special attack drop on this Iron Mono? This is under 50% health, no special attack drop.
Nicholas may have just won this game. Let's see what this last Pokemon is. Okay, there's
still a Rillaboom in the back, and Taunt's gone on the Cresselia. Oh wait, no, the Rillaboom fainted. What am I talking about? And it's Ogerpon.
Ogerpon. Okay, well, this is a match that is going to be decided by Ogerpon.
It's also going to be decided whether or not Iron Bundle hits a Hydro Pump.
Yeah, and if you know Pokemon, if it doesn't hit 100%, it hits 50%.
Hydro Pump's notorious for that 80% accuracy that a lot of players had to deal with before Scald returned, and even when Scald returned, Iron Bundle never got it.
Yeah, they knew that would be way too overpowered. It's going to come down to
Spiky Shield on this Ogerpon, so any contact move would take damage on this Protect, so did everything go into this Cresselia? Hydro Pump goes into this Ogerpon, so it will be protected. I believe this is going to be another double up or a taunt from this Weezing. It's going to be a taunt to make sure that Trigger never goes up, make sure no Helping Hand goes up, and probably most importantly, Lunar Blessing doesn't give any healing options. But instead, Moonblast comes out, knowing that it was going to happen, no special attack drops yet on this Moonblast. Iron Bundle gets another chance to potentially take out this Ogerpon. And the Aurora Veil's gone.
Here, okay, we may be here for a while, guys. Because here's the thing, I believe a Moonblast knocks out Cresselia. You have two options with Ogerpon. You either go for the attack or try and Spiky Shield.
Hydro Pump goes in, does connect onto the Ogerpon. How much damage is doing enough for a one-hit knockout? Now it becomes a war between this Cresselia and Weezing, depending on what happens here. Sludge Bomb comes in, and it's going to do a decent amount of damage to Cresselia. That's the poison.
That's what Nicholas needed. Otherwise, we would have been here a while. I think Weezing still would have won the one-on-one with Cresselia here. But.
Yeah, Iron Bundle goes down now that the Aurora Veil's gone, but it did a lot of work with that Hydro Pump. As that Choice Specs actually powered it up considerably.
Okay, you know what? I take back what I was saying about the Grass Terra. Brilliant play by Nicholas. Get that Arcanine gone so that way your Iron Bundle comes in. I did not think that thing would do that much damage onto Ursaluna Blood Moon. It's not. That's one thing you gotta really watch out for with Ursaluna Blood Moon. It is bulky. Yeah. Okay. Yep. So Nicholas takes game one. Really, really good play there with that Iron Bundle. I mean, it really came down to Hydro Pump. I think twice. It came down to Hydro Pump twice because Hydro Pump is insane and it does so much damage. But I think here, if you are Nicholas, if you're okay, personally, I would switch to Arcanine out. I think it's good for the Intimidate. It's good for Rillaboom, but you do have Iron Hands. I think gives you a better matchup because if it is the minimum speed, you do outspeed that Ursaluna in Trick Room. So that is a better matchup for Trick Room. Plus, you have Fake Out support to get you're in a better position. You do, and worst case scenario, you do the exact same thing that Arcanine did, and you go in and lose it right away. So
Or Edward can just switch it up and just forego the Tailwind mode, to Trick Room mode, just to go to Tailwind. And depending on how fast that Ursaluna is, the Tailwind could actually be very handy.
Okay, you know what? Actually, one other option. You're right with the Tailwind, but this tournament has a sunny day. So
I could get rid of the snow.
Yeah, you just get rid of it with Sunny Day, and it's Covert Cloak. So there you go. I think with that, Sunny Day plus Ogerpon could be a very threatening lead here, especially because if you time your Ivy Cudgels and Spiky Shields right, you're pretty much able to sweep the team here. The one you would want to watch out for would be the Arcanine then. That's when you would bring in Arcanine, and maybe that's why Nicholas would bring in Arcanine here, but that's actually why I think Edward's team is really nice. You have two modes, both of which equally scary, and the thing is, not one combo can beat either mode. I think we are going to see the Ninetales come back though.
Well, he's now going to depend on his lead again. I think I did see Nicholas forego the Arcanine here, but he did lead the Ninetales, so Snow will see a resurgence. Do we see anything different here from Edward and Nicholas, though? I have to assume Tailwind would be an option for Edward to go here. And if it is, Weezing's going to be a big option here, and it is just going to be the standard typical Torn Ogre of Gen 9, Tornadus Ogre. And we see Ninetales and the Iron Hands come in here. This might be a free setup for the Aurora Veil.
Not quite, because you got yourself a Sunny Day user. However, okay, this is where it's interesting. Ninetales, I believe, is slightly slower than Tornadus. If you go into Weezing and get rid of the Prankster, that's fine. But then the Tornadus is going to be able to go for that Sunny Day still. I think the right call here is to go for the Fake Out onto the Ogerpon and switch into Weezing then. Or that. But you're still probably not going to get the Aurora Veil out.
How much survivability does it have against this Ivy Cudgel if it comes in? Because Nicholas is predicting a very aggressive turn from Edward, and I don't think he has any good reason to go overly aggressive at the moment. As Iron Hands does switch out, the Tornadus does have the Cobra Claw, so Fake Out wouldn't be doing much of anything, so we're just going to get the Weezing in here and hope that the Ninetales is faster than this Tornadus, depending on how these Pokemon are trained.
I mean, Tornadus, it's so 50-50. Both Ninetales and Tornadus can invest in max speed and max bulk. It's a matter of what you think the other one has. I know personally most Tornaduses have been going max speed in this format because of Ogerpon, and that's why I think that this may have been a mistake.
Spiky Shield from Ogerpon, so this is going to be a passive move from Edward. All comes down to what the Tornadus does, and it's just going to be the Tailwind.
Not Sunny Day?
It is going to be the Aurora coming in now, so the neutralizing gas now kind of doesn't matter right now because, well, I guess it does matter. The Ogerpon does have to go for Terastallization, but now there's a lot more bulky options for Nicholas to play around with now that Iron Hands actually has a lot of insurance with the bulk.
Whoa, that Sunny Day. Oh, I think that was the play. That Aurora Veil's gonna do so much. The nice thing, Ogerpon does have some really good moves against the opposing Pokemon. I mean, you get, like you said, Weezing's not gonna help you much on Iron Hands, which I think is gonna return in here, and that is really nice. But this is the time I think you switch out that Ogerpon. And there's not, it can't do much.
Oh, the Terastallization coming in from Edward.
It's gonna be into, this is gonna be Terrafire, isn't it?
It is Ogerpon going for Terra Fire, but the neutralizing gas is going to negate the embody aspect. So Ogerpon's going to remain at neutral, but that's going to increase power in Ivy Cudgel, and I believe he's trying to prioritize his Weezing as Sunny Day goes in. If this Weezing goes down,
that's big.
If it does, it's going to be important when he's trying to read the Ninetales staying in. The Sludge Bomb comes into this Ogerpon, and that's a poison.
Wow, that was worst case scenario for Edward there. Yeah, that poison, I mean. Because look at how much Sludge Bomb did. At this point, you were able, and they're able to Fake Out too right now. So, like, you could just go for the Fake Out on Ogerpon or Tornadus. I actually think right now, you can just Wild Charge Tornadus. There's nothing stopping you from that.
I can totally see them going for the Wild Charge into the Tornadus, and the only thing that's really blocking is Ursaluna, maybe Cresselia, but I think still does like good shit damage on the Cresselia, and yeah, there's a Tornadus.
I'm guessing Rillaboom. Well, but then you got Sludge Bomb you gotta worry about, so I don't know.
It's Cresselia.
Okay, that's Cresselia.
So Cresselia comes in here, gonna hope to take a bit more better damage. So Spiky Shield.
Yeah, that's expected.
Yeah, probably worried about a Fake Out as well.
Absolutely.
See what happens here. Sludge Bomb once again to the Ogerpon, so wants to get it at least gone. This neutralizing gas is actually proven to be a problem against this Ogerpon because now that it doesn't have that attack boost, only has the Sun and the Terastallization boost.
Okay, yeah, Ogerpon's not in a good spot. I think here. Oh man, okay, Weezing can actually pick up a knockout on Ogerpon right now, so you have to hit the Weezing. But if that Weezing protects and you go for that Wild Charge onto the Ogerpon slot, then they lose their Ogerpon right away, and you're able to just pick up that KO with the Iron Hands. I think, yeah, this is the play you need to make right now. Is switching, getting rid of that Sun, so that way you have a
that doesn't happen because of the neutralizing gas. So.
Oh, you're okay. Yeah, never mind.
Helping Hand goes into this Ogerpon, so you need to get this Ivy Cudgel to knock out this Weezing right now.
I'm surprised Weezing didn't protect actually.
Ivy Cudgel does come in. Does it go into the Weezing? That's probably the most important target to get. It does go into the Ivy Cudgel, into the Weezing, and it is enough for the knockout. So. Neutralizing gas is gone. Snow gonna activate.
That's why that's why Nicholas brought out the Ninetales, because you knew the neutralizing gas was going down, so you get the Snow. And actually, it's not a bad play, I have to admit, because the Snow warning's really good. It really comes down to what I think Nicholas's last Pokemon are. The
Tailwind's gone.
The nice thing. Oh. Okay, let's have some fun. Iron Bundle is back, baby. I do think it's the right call here. I think actually, maybe. The question is, do you go for the Hydro Pumps or the Double Blizzards? That's the
Blizzard should be enough to knock the Ogre Bomb. It's more so like worrying about the Cresselia's.
yeah, no,
defensive.
absolutely. That's why it's like, do you lock onto Blizzard or do you lock on the? Personally, I think locking onto Blizzard's better.
I would think so too, because Tornadus still takes super effective damage if it wants to get on a switch, and Ogerpon wants to scout it out at least, so now it just comes down to what both these Pokemon did for Nicholas. It's going to be, first of all, a Blizzard, so that's the choice lock for his choice specs onto this Cresselia. It does a lot of damage, actually, and he gets a freeze!
Oh, that was needed. If this
Blizzard comes out again for this Ninetales. Now it just comes down to whether or not this Ninetales gets the KO on the Edward Cresselia, which it doesn't. Does it thaw out? It does not.
That was exactly what you needed, because if the Trick Room was set up, that Ursaluna could have wreaked havoc. Although Nicholas played really well bringing in the Iron Hands regardless, because Iron Hands could handle Ursaluna a bit better. But still, at this point, yeah, I think you just stay in with your Iron Bundle, go into Iron Hands, give yourself more position, and just click Blizzard, because it's guaranteed hit. They cannot do anything if they switch into Tornadus. They lose Tornadus. At this point, Edward is banking on his last Pokemon to basically be the saving grace in this matchup. Go ahead.
If anything, Cresselia tried to go for the helping hand here. He just gets frozen solid once again here. Blizzard comes out, does take a double knockout, and that's unfortunately not how Torn Ogre plays in this generation. It's not a Kyogre anytime soon.
No. Okay,
although, now that we look back, I think knocking out the Weezing might have been Edward's downfall.
Yeah, that snow really helped. I think it's so interesting. Nicholas came out from behind both times here, and I think when it looks like it's not going to work out, it does work out. But this Flutter Mane is what I was going to mention. This is the scary one, because Iron Hands. The Blizzard will obviously knock out the Tornadus, but it does have Prankster, which means you can get rid of the Sun, and if you
get rid of the snow,
or get rid of the snow in favor of Sun, and then protect your Flutter Mane, I think, this turn to survive.
I forget.
And hope that you can sweep with Moonblast. That's about it.
I forget if in the Sun, Blizzard's accuracy becomes 50%. I forget if that's actually how that works. If it does, that's going to be a big coin flip.
Yeah, and this is big. This right here is big.
Special attack.
Yep. That's gonna...
Blizzard does double connect though, so there will be the knockout on the Tornadus. Almost knocks out the Flutter Mane as it gets a critical hit. And now it depends on whether or not this Flutter Mane knocks out the Iron Hands.
I think we can wrap this up for Nicholas right here.
Oh, Moonblast comes in here, and that is not enough for the knockout on Iron Hands. And this is going to be a big heavy slam. The Torn Ogre core has been slayed, and Edward Gold unfortunately falls 2-0 to Nicholas's big snow team.
I'm actually, you know what's interesting? I think not bringing in Ursaluna Blood Moon was a very smart choice. The freeze was unfortunate, and the critical hit was unfortunate too. It still wasn't enough to knock out the Iron Hands though. It just goes to show you how Iron Hands is so bulky. And one thing I want to point out with Nicholas's team, this is a really dangerous team, because we said it in the first match. Oh, the Arcanine should have terraed grass. No, Nicholas knew what he was doing. And this time, knock out the Weezing. Yeah, that's it. That's important because you don't get your ability up. No, because that set the snow up. Like, Nicholas knows how to bait someone into taking a trap. In this case, hitting the Weezing, sending out the Arcanine. Nah, Nicholas is really good because Nicholas knows exactly how to maneuver his team, what to get rid of in favor of what to bring in. It's just, and it's able to fool even the best players. Like we saw, Edward's a really good player, and it's able to fool people like that just into going for the obvious play. And I think that's where Nicholas' team shines.
Yeah, Weezing a big important piece. Yeah. For Nicholas' team, and that was the key to victory for him, as we would wish to have highlight reels, but...
I know, right? Oh, so I want to, like, go back and, like, look at that freeze!
no, that Weezing is actually the biggest reason Nicholas won the game, because it disrupted a lot of what Edward did game 1, and it actually won him to gain game 2.
Oh, absolutely. Weezing is... I think we were saying, like I said, it got a big nerf. Maybe not. I mean, it's bulky, too. Weezing Aurora Veil is insane. Aurora Veil in general is insane, but Weezing with that leftovers and bulk and just potential to stall physical attackers with Will-O-Wisp. And, I mean, you saw how much damage that did on the Ogerpon, which was, I mean, that was insane amount of damage. So, yeah, really well played both players.
Yeah, and that's going to do it for round number 2 here. Round number 3 will be coming up after this short break here. We'll be right back. Again, we've seen so many crazy things happen, you really don't want to miss out.
Yeah, see you guys then.